D-Lo 404 Boxing here. Shout out to the LDBC. Hey, shout out to Marlo's Corner. Shout out to New Media. Hey, I want to talk about Anthony Joshua and Big Baby Miller potentially having a showdown. This has been talked about over the course of the last several days. I'm just not getting around to putting my 2 cents into it. And a lot of that has to do with kind of just being reluctant because we keep hearing conflicting stories of what Anthony Joshua's going to do next. So it's kind of, you know what I'm saying, nothing's really in concrete even as of today. All these, a few days later after the initial announcement. But what I want to say about that subject is, should Anthony Joshua be fighting Big Baby Miller? I think as far as broadening his fan base, getting exposure to the U.S. fans, I think that is a good move. Is it a fight I want to see right now? No, I can think of 3 or 4 fights that I'd rather see Anthony Joshua involved in, but I understand the strategy behind it. I also understand that with the Wilder fight still on the horizon and pending, and I shouldn't say pending, but potentially out there to be had, to be made, if they are, and by they I mean Team Joshua, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, even DAZN, if they're wanting to put that fight on, then it makes sense to get Anthony Joshua that exposure to the American audience in a primetime fight on American soil, and see what the outcome is. Big Baby Miller isn't the most dangerous opponent of the potential fights that were out there for AJ, but I think he's a formidable opponent in terms of what he brings to the table. Miller's gonna throw punches. He's gonna throw a volume of punches. He's gonna come in heavy. He's a little shorter than Joshua, but he's much bigger in terms of mass, in terms of weight. So Miller's gonna probably come in there around 300 to 315. Typically doesn't seem to get very tired in a fight. Anthony Joshua has a history of gassing out, even before the midway point in fights. So, that in and of itself creates some intrigue. I think the big question is, would Miller be able to take Joshua's punches? And also, does Miller hit hard enough to hurt Joshua? Like we've seen him hurt him in other fights. So, all of that adds intrigue, all of that adds interest to the fight. I'm not gonna say I'm totally mad at the fight. Like I said in the beginning of the video, yeah, there are other fights I'd rather see Anthony Joshua in, but I'm not his matchmaker. I'm not his promoter. This is the fight that seems to be the one that has the most traction right now. And if that's the fight that they're making, I understand the strategy behind it. You don't want, like they told Deontay Wilder when he went to fight Luis Ortiz. By they I mean Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn and other people were critical of Deontay Wilder for fighting Luis Ortiz, such a dangerous opponent, ahead of making a Joshua fight. They were afraid that Luis Ortiz would upset the apple cart. So I find it hard to believe that they're not thinking the same thing about Luis Ortiz when it comes to Joshua. And I know there'll be 50 people, you know, who disagree, or way more than that. Who knows? Anyway, there'll be those who disagree and say that, you know, oh, Anthony Joshua watches Luis Ortiz, you know, whatever. You know, I always say that if guys just knew they would just dominate another guy, they wouldn't be reluctant to fight him. But anyway, I think this fight could be a step in the right direction to making the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight. And like I said, it's not the fight we want, but honestly, neither was Wilder versus Fury. It was a consolation prize that turns out to be a damn good one. So, and then we're gonna get another one. So, you know, I was never mad at that fight. I just was kind of disappointed that we weren't getting the fight we actually wanted. But, you know, having had the fight and now it's gonna be a rematch, I'm looking forward to the rematch even more than I was the initial fight in that regard. I'm also looking forward to Anthony Joshua making his debut on U.S. soil, facing Big Baby Miller, because I think Big Baby presents some challenges, but I know Joshua presents some challenges with him as well. But I'm not going to just pencil it in and say that Joshua walks over Big Baby Miller. I just find that hard to believe. But if it happens to play out that way, then hey, so be it. It's D-Lo 404 Boxing. Once again, shout out to the LDBC. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I ask that you please subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Drop a comment in the comment section. I'm out. Peace.